Yo, what up everyone? My name is Jordan Bentley. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and this is my YouTube channel. For those who don't know, I am 28 years old, originally from Los Angeles, California. I'm the founder of Hypland. I do public speaking. I do, like motivational speaking. I do graphic design, creative direction. I do influencer, internet stuff. I pretty much do it all. I started my brand Hypland when I was 14 years old, and since 14 years old, I've sold over hundreds of millions of dollars in items. We've done retail deals with every wholesaler you could think of, down to Zoomies, Urban Outfitters, Nordstrom's, PacSun, you name it. We've sold millions of units of clothing. We've done collaborations with all of your favorite anime and video game IP, ranging but not limited to Hello Kitty, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, anything you could think of. We've done activations. I've done music festivals. I'm pretty much a multifaceted creator. And I'm using this new YouTube channel really as a way to kind of share the things that got me to where I am right now, review some of the things that I've gone, and give some free game to people who look just like me. I felt like growing up when I was 14 and I started my brand, I didn't have that much resources to say, hey, I want to learn how to do this, so I want to be that light to someone else. If I can share a little bit of my journey and help you guys explain who I am and the things that I'm doing to maybe help you skip a step, it's a success to me. So if you're new here, or we're all new, I guess, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video, but subscribe to the page because I'm gonna be dropping all type of stuff, like talking about the books that I'm reading, talking about what it's like to live with my brother in New York City, the importance of family, really importance of finding yourself, some things that I've gone through the journey as far as importance, things that I learned from my friends. You can really expect a lot from this channel. So yeah, like I said, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications. I promise everything will be educational and you'll learn something new every single video. So let's get it going. So first things first, who am I? I'm Jordan Bentley. Like I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I do a lot of different things. I started my brand when I was 14 years old as just a product of interest. I'm from Los Angeles originally, and I was fortunate enough when I was in middle school to be introduced to the world of streetwear. I was a big fan of Odd Future. I was a big fan of Fairfax culture, so I got to watch brands like Diamond, The Hundreds, Huff, you know, like all the Supreme era just kind of come up when I was a sixth grader. I was like really introduced to that streetwear world at that time, and that was really my first introduction to not just entrepreneurship, but just the world of streetwear, which got me to be an entrepreneur. My interest in fashion just kind of took off after a bit of my mom. My mom was a nice dresser when I was growing up, so I just saw her dress really nice, but also was really into art. So I felt like streetwear and fashion was just the perfect way for me to blend like my drawings and things that I loved to do in middle school at the time with now my newfound adult interest of, you know, designing and just doing different things. So like I said, I want to teach you guys so much stuff. So a lot of you guys may be asking, for those who know Hypland now, how do we get into anime? Why is it the capstone of our brand? And you know, why is it so important? So from the how we got into anime, you know, I started the brand when I was 14, but it didn't originally start as an anime brand. It was really just streetwear at its core. At the same time, because as individuals, we have so many different interests, anime was just like one of my main interests. You know, I loved Naruto. I got into anime when I think I was a fourth grader. I was like scrolling on channels at my mom's house, scrolling through TV, and I stumbled upon Toonami, and I saw Fooly Cooly, and like I loved the art style. The music was super cool. I caught the end of the episode, and from there, like I just got into that Adult Swim Toonami. And then of course, like every kid, you know, after school every day I used to go to PBS Channel 4, I think it was, and watch Pokemon, watch Yu-Gi-Oh, watch all the different TV shows that would come on after school. So I was already introduced to that culture. I just didn't know properly what it was. We got into anime as a collaboration though, because back when I was in college, and I want to say 2015 or 16, you know, I started watching anime again. I felt like when I was in high school, I was trying to be cool, and I felt like anime wasn't really a cool thing, so I kind of put it on the back burner. But when I got in college, started watching it again. I was hanging out with some friends that really also liked anime too, and that was just the first introduction. I mean, that was my like reintroduction to like the space, watching a ton of shows. And from there, like I had a one-on-one mentorship that we'll kind of break down later with the late Virgil Abloh, who's a mentor of mine, and kind of just told me like, look, you have a lot of different ideas, you know, just pick one. Your brand doesn't have to have all of the ideas like it does of you as a person. It's different, like a business and a person are different. So just make sure you crack on like one particular idea, refine that focus, and here we are. Maybe I want to say like A few months later, I had a dream that I had a collaboration with Dragon Ball Z, which was one of my favorite and introductory shows at the time. And that's what really got us bumping into like the anime space. I had one of the homies make a couple different designs. My mom obviously told me not to put them out because we would get a cease and desist. I argue with her, but mom always knows best. She told us to go licensing. One of my mentors at the time, literally a day later after me and my mom had that argument, was just like, yo, I'm going to Vegas for this licensing expo. You should go. It's tomorrow. So I remember me and my mom packed up our Prius, drove from LA to Vegas. I got a haircut down there, and we literally asked every single licensor for the opportunity to get a collab, not really knowing what the space was like, not knowing that you needed appointments. I got denied by everybody you could think of, like the Toyes, the Dragon Balls, everybody. But Viz Media was the first company to really take a chance with us. There was a lady named Akane. She was like the first person to say, hey, look, like, I see your brand vision. We don't really do too much stuff in streetwear. We've never done any streetwear collaboration. We'll give you Bleach, which at the time was a show that had ended. There hadn't been new news behind it, but they said, you know what, we'll take the chance. From there, we took the Bleach collaboration, we took it to Complex Con, we took it to Anime Expo, we collaborated with different influencers, and I really tried to use the relationships I had in the influencer space, just the marketing space overall in general, and say, hey, look, like, how can I, one, add a little black spin onto this stuff, maybe make things a little more fashionable. Like, our first Bleach collection had super cool items like, overalls and just different things that you wouldn't have seen back in the day. And that was, like I said, it was like the first introduction to bringing anime into the streetwear world. It wasn't a huge collaboration, but it was a huge milestone for us at the time, just because, I didn't really understand the sheer viability of the show. And I remember back when we first got that collab, like, I remember going and saying, like, you know what, I need to watch Bleach to really understand it, because I originally wanted Naruto, and obviously they told me no. It's our first time doing some stuff. But I originally wanted Naruto, and I hadn't watched Bleach since I was a kid. So I was like, you know what, let me find out a little bit more about the show so I can, give my best authentic and artistic approach to the collection. And it came out great. So that was kind of like our first introduction. And from there, once we saw some success, like, I think that people saw the unique spin that we had. We brought it into Zoomies. We really brought anime into a different environment of consumers, and that was just, like I said, a big selling point for us. We were into home goods. I really took all of the knowledge and resources I learned from streetwear through collaboration, through innovation, through just having fun with the products, and brought that to the anime space and said, you know what, how can I create something that's for the anime fan that's like me, that wants something but is a little more wearable? And from there, the brand kind of took off, and we got a ton of different collaborations as a result of that afterwards. I think that for me, if I had to give like one quick story or like one quick lesson that defines me as an entrepreneur, is that I'm just resilient. I think that if I were to look back at that licensing expo back in 2017 when I was in college, it's like I got told no by everybody. I've gotten told no tons of times, and I feel like as an entrepreneur, you're always going to get told no. You're always going to get denied, no matter how good your idea is. But you really have to be resilient. So for me, it was like, yo, I might get told no, but I know that the things that I have are good enough for me to, I guess, just get to where I want to get to, and eventually somebody will believe in your idea. You just gotta keep on pressing on and be resilient, and no matter how many times you get the no, eventually somebody will say yes, and you'll get the opportunity to demonstrate, And then also too, listen to your mom, bro. I feel like parents and just your mentors, they all have a lot of wisdom that they can teach you and things. So always listen to them, because they know best. Because if I hadn't listened to my mom, we'd have made some unlicensed stuff, and we probably wouldn't have the collaborations we have today. So big shout out to moms. Let me say this. So obviously I've been doing this for such a long time, 28 now. I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing this brand for almost 15 years. And my motivation for starting the channel now is, like, when I was starting my brand, I really wanted someone just like me to, be the person I am today. I wanted somebody to be like, and lead by example, teach me things, have resources. And I just feel like this channel is now aimed at like the more mature version of me, to show people like, hey, look, like, this is how you can learn. I want to give free game like Virgil did to me, and just really pay it forward. I feel like in life there's a lot of resources, but you don't always know where to find those things. And we don't have leaders that look like us. Like they always say, you can't be what you can't see. So I want to try my best to just be a better leader and say, hey, look, like, how can I teach kids that look just like me, or just are interested in fashion or creative or anime or whatever, whether it be licensing or something like that, something new, so that way they can do the same thing. There's plenty of money out here to be made, man. So I think that if you can, spread a little bit of knowledge and information, one, God will pay it back to you and give you that same blessing tenfold. But also, two, on the same end, I just want to teach some people. I think that there's a lot of talented people out there that don't have the resources, and I hope to, make their life a little bit better and teach them something. So I guess, like, The main takeaway that I want to have from with these videos is, one, to inspire. I think that my life and my journey has been a ton of different lessons, and if I can inspire anyone to just be just like me and just follow their dreams unapologetically, and know that no matter how young you are, the ideas you have are valuable. I mean, who would have thought 14 years old to now making millions of dollars off of t-shirts was even a possibility? Two, I mean, I hope to just like teach people stuff. I want you to, when you watch these videos, I want you to learn something. When we start going through the book reviews, I want you to learn something. When I start explaining like why I moved from LA to New York and just my life experiences with traveling and things like that and what they've taught me, I want you to learn something. I think that you can learn from a lot of different ways and outlets. It doesn't always have to be reading. So I feel like through my experiences, I want to share something. And hopefully, really, to be honest with you, with sharing things, I want people to walk away from this and like maybe skip a failure. You know, I think that the struggle is glorified a little too much, and if you can skip a failure and learn a lesson through my experience or the things that I've gone through to help you in your process, you know, I think that's a win for me. And then I think you know, I guess like feeling wise, if I had to describe, like I just want everybody to feel inspired and feel happy after watching these videos. I want you to feel my authenticity and the love that I have for this. Like I said, these are low budget, low edit videos. I'm not going to be doing too much crazy stuff. You're just going to be listening to me talk most of the time. So, you know, I hope you enjoy the subject matter at the end of the day. You know, I guess like for the main thing, what you can kind of expect from this channel. You know, I kind of briefly touched on it, but a lot of what you'll see on this channel is, one, inspirational videos about like my story, my journey, the lessons I've learned. I'm going to try and make different subtopics and topics that we kind of talk about. I'll be teaching you things about books that I've read. Maybe we'll do like book summaries. I'll talk to you about the things that I've learned, how they've helped me, why the certain books are important, and maybe the principles that are in the books, like why they matter so much. I hope to help people navigate lessons through routine life and just really just seeing like a different side of me. Like I said, the main thing for me is like, I'll use a bunch of storytelling. I use a bunch of advice. I'll do a bunch of like just different in front of the camera videos where I'll be feeling very vulnerable and just talking to you guys. So, I mean, as much as I can, I'll try and include like BTS or like cool stories to just try to relate to everyone. But like I said, I really want everybody to just walk from this and be like, hey, look, I understand Jordan. He really has like a good thought process in his mind, and he's really out here trying to help everybody at the end of the day. And like, you guys can take something away, because I don't gain anything from this. And then really, to be honest with you, this channel is for everybody. I think that if you're an entrepreneur, you're creative, you're an artist, you're a visionary, you have ideas that you want to put out there, this is the channel for you, truthfully. I think that, you know, like I said, I have a lot of different experiences that I want to teach people. So, you know, if you are any one of those people or adjacent to those categories, I think there's something that you can learn from all these videos. And then I guess like, if I had to say like why you guys should stick around, just stick around because you'll learn. I think that education is cool. My perspective is very unique. Like I said, I'm 28 years old and I've gone through a lot. I mean, 28 years old, working in a career for 15 years, going through a bunch of different landscape changes, like the implementation of technology, AI, you know, working in different spaces, being in places like Forbes under 30. You know, I think that I've learned a lot just in my life, and I want to give that same thing, man. It's like my experience in Forbes, the amount of money that we've generated, the amount of collaborations that I've had, the traveling, all of those different things contribute to why my perspective is unique. And really, I'm a young black man, which I don't think that there's that many people that have had the same experiences as me, you know, have that insight. So I want to just kind of share that, for, like I said, for people who look just like me and people who want to do that stuff. And then, yeah, I guess like final call to action, and this will be like the ending of the intro video, is like, if you like the videos, you like this first introduction, make sure you like and comment. Leave a comment. Every comment that you leave, as far as feedback, things you want me to talk about, anything of that nature, I read. I want to try and take the community's feedback in consideration, and just make this a channel about you guys. If there's questions that you guys have, things you want to learn, there's nothing off the table. If you want to learn about licensing, if you want to learn about brand building, if you want to learn about all these different things, I'm open, and my perspective is like happy to share things for people who look just like me. So yeah, like I said, if you enjoy this video, make sure to like and comment. Please comment some suggestions. I'm here to build this for you guys. Outside of that, you know, tell a friend. Hopefully I can learn with everybody, and you know, knowledge is power. So the more we can learn together, the better we push one another to be better at the end of the day. So I think like when the community eats, we all eat. But yeah, first number one, video introduction. We out.